Hello.
That's better. I'll press the button. They can hear you now. Good evening,
Oh, they
everyone.
can hear me. Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Railfan TV. We are playing the DBBR 101, which is out today. We're very excited about it, and I'm joined today by the wonderful Matt.
Hello. Yeah, if we can just get a volume feedback. JD was a bit quiet there from the looks of it. I've just turned his volume up massively because it was really low for some reason. So if we can just get another couple of sentences there from JD, you can just let me know how his volume is.
I mean, we did the normal warm up of for breakfast this morning. I had some granola, which is very, very boring, but hopefully that's given you guys enough of a volume to check and see if everything's working.
And we've got beeps coming from this as well. Excellent. Let me just double check the audio on the game because I have a nasty habit of dropping the audio to nothing because it's getting in my way. Right, as JD said, we're looking at the BR 101 tonight, released today. We're going to do a couple of things with it. We're going to do a service on Hauptstrecke Rhein-Ruhr, and we're going to do a very quick drivey type scenario on Munich so that we can just look at LZB running and just run it on a different route. So, first off, it comes with a selection of scenarios, which are changeover, Bahau balance, and all together. So you get 3 scenarios. Then there's the tutorial in here for the BR 101. And service-wise, I think it adds something like 30 services. So you're up to 404 now, if you've got all of the other content as well. Right, so let's go over to BR 101.
Lovely. And just quickly before we get started, Matt, I know that there are a few people who were looking at Steam earlier, and perhaps there was a little bit of a pricing error on our part. If you did feel like you paid a little bit too much for the Loco pack from what it would normally be, please let us know. Please let Steam know, get a refund, and then get the actual price, which is what you would normally pay for a Loco pack. So yeah, just hop in, get a refund, and we will do our best to make sure that you can get it for the price it was meant to be at. So apologies if we've caused any inconvenience there, but it's all fixed now.
Awesome. Yeah, never mind. Make sure you get your refund, folks. Oh dear. Right. Anyway, so we are booting up. We're going to look at the BR 101. So this is it. Hopefully you can hear it. Starts up like a spaceship. I love how this sounds. So actually, Mike Goltz from TS Germany did I think the vast majority, if not all, of the setup and sound work on this one, and has done a magnificent job. It works really, really well. I am running shipping build on my PC. I am not sure why it's stuttering occasionally, but hopefully it will put paid to that. My machine's been doing that lately. I'm tempted to blame coffee, but unfortunately it's a different PC entirely, so I can't. So
I did hear this story, Matt, yesterday. Did everything manage to make it out alive?
Well, the laptop spent the night in the airing cupboard, and I am very, very happy to say that come this morning, it booted up and it worked, and I was very happy and relieved. I had a very broken sleep last night. It has to be said. I was not happy. Right. Okay. So in terms of setup, I should talk you through what I'm doing. So round here, I have turned on CIFA, PZB, and I've turned on LZB. Over here, we should flick over the lights to the white lights. There's nothing else we need to worry about right now on the back wall. On the front here, we need to put the reverser in. So this is your first German loco where you can insert the reverser. And let's get that forward. And you'll notice now that PZB has woke up, and it's also confirmed LZ. The B light here confirms LZB is active. We need to unlock the brakes, and we'll just put a bit more brake on. And we're now in control, which is a bad thing for me to be in. But there's no coffee, so we're all right. So let's get the doors open. You've got your door side selector here, and there's a this door. That's the horn. Where's the door lever? There's a door lever here somewhere. I actually don't know where that is.
All of the bells and whistles, but no door lever.
You can see how much I've used this train. Where's the door lever gone? Who's nicked the door lever? Nope, can't find the door lever. Rude.
It's probably a good point to just point out at this point that if you are looking for more information about German signalling or safety routes, Matt's done a brilliant tutorial on our YouTube page, one of the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel over the last year or so. It's about an hour and 45 minutes, but it's worth every minute of that. I spent a little bit of time taking a look through it. Still haven't really learned it. I probably need to watch it another 2 or 3 times, but it's a really good introduction to the safety systems and also the signalling that you use in Germany, which we'll obviously be using today as well.
That's the horn. So yeah, someone's just points out this is actually just works like an ICE. You just put it to the right setting, and it gets on with it. There you go. I'm being a wally, basically. It doesn't have separate door open close buttons like the like some of the other less cool trains than this one. So look outside before we get going. This is the BR101 and our first new set of coaches. This is the Intercity Coaches. What we could do, let's just have a quick wander around those coaches before we go.
Oh yes, let's.
These are exciting. This is new coaches for Germany. You've got the destination board down here. We're in the coaches. These are compartment coaches. We can wander our way down all the different compartments. This is a first class.
I was going to say that looks very first classy to me. Automatic doors, and then we go into still another first.
More first class. Well, in Germany they put on more than one first class coach, not like the UK where you get half a carriage. And then we get to second class. So this is the BPMMZ coach, whereas that was the AVMMZ, I think, or something like that. Letters. One begins with an A and one begins with a B. Well, this is the important bit there.
I should be able to double check that actually, because I did make some notes beforehand, believe it or not. It is the where are we? Nope, did not make notes on that one, so let's move on. There is definitely an A, and there is definitely sorry, AVMMZ and the BPMMZ.
Right, let's get off the coach. Bit of door close action there. I know some of you are big fans of the door close action.
There's been a lot of positive feedback about the audio as well. I know we mentioned it at the start of the stream, but I think the team have done a brilliant job on that.
Yeah, yes, definitely. It's worked out really, really nicely. It's captures the feel of this really interesting loco quite nicely, I think. Very pleased. Right, okay, so let's get the brakes off. I'm going to turn AFB on. Set AFB to 40 kilometers an hour to start off with, and then we'll get some power going. Actually, we should probably just get the doors locked.
That would be, I think, helpful. So sadly, because we're on a Teams call, I don't get any audio for this, so I don't have the game audio. So Matt's going to have to be our audio guide for the evening.
Audio guide for the evening.
I will ask about the horn at some point, and we will do a horn test at some point.
I did unlock the brakes. That's it. There we go. There we go. We're off. Right, set the tractive force target to about 50 to get us going. And so this thing, you set the way it's slightly unusual. What you do is you use this to set the target tractive force, and then what you'll see from the ammeter is it adjusts the power to manage the constant level of force that you've selected. So it'll keep applying more power as you speed up to keep maintaining that force. You see PZB has put us in start program. That's a green light. Press the end button and we'll get out of PZB monitoring. Now I'm safe to bring it up to the speed limit of 90. and we'll just let the train accelerate, do its thing.
It feels very smooth.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I say it feels very smooth. It looks very smooth from the viewpoint and vantage point that I have, which is obviously not driving the loco. So
no, it's really slick to drive. It's nice. It's got good performance. Let's put a bit more power on there. 50 kilonewtons is about the normal acceleration brake force or acceleration force, as far as I'm aware. To keep a nice comfortable passenger ride. Speed limit's gone up. Let's just bump that up a bit. Next station is Moulin-Rouge, which is 7.4 kilometres.
Nice one. Ensor 42 asks, what's the lit panel 3 to the left of the CIFA light with text on it?
Says German words. Something to do with a brake.
Any Germans in the chat? It would be lovely to have a translation. If you could read that, I think I just about got HO something.
HOHE Abramson. So I have no idea what that means.
Let me see if I can quickly Google Translate. This is the benefit
huge
of being
braking. Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know what that means in terms of the context. I was going to actually talk to Mike actually later on, because I want to ask him about the wheel slip. I know a number of you mentioned as well. High braking. There you go. So I want to find out, is that prototypical for this, and what the situation is there? Because I mean, this is around the 50 kilonewtons. It's performing fine, but once you get above that, but then it might be you're not supposed to go above that. I don't know. So I'll find out. But I can also find out as well about what's going on with that one as well.
And this is a single track route?
Nope. No, this is a multi-track route. Hang on.
Oh, we're coming on. Okay, fine.
So we cross and crisscross and all over the place. So this is a bit of a racetrack, this route. One of the things that's really cool about this particular route compared to a lot of others is that you're more likely to be running side by side along with other trains, as well as having other trains blasting past in the other direction. You'll actually find yourself overtaking or being overtaken depending on what's going on at any given time.
I think we chatted about this, Matt, didn't we, in the New Journeys section of Rail FanFest, about how enjoyable it is to be able to kind of look over to the other side and see as many people just sort of randomly looking at you as if you're a passenger on some of those journeys. So
yeah, absolutely.
All fun and games.
So the high braking then, does that mean that because it's confirming that I have got access to higher braking because of the vehicles I'm connected to? As in it not being lit would mean I'd have to be aware I've got less braking. So that's all it's doing, is it's telling me that I'm coupled to vehicles which let me stop quicker, which is always a good thing with me and stopping at stations, to be fair.
And again, if you watch the 4-up challenge from a couple of weeks ago, you know that I definitely need all of the helping in the getting into the station. So if you haven't watched that already, it's a lot of fun. We'll do some more of those. We've got some more ideas about what we want to try and do with some of those 4-up challenges in the future.
The BR101 is currently only being used as a freight loco. In reality, as a passenger loco. In reality, you can certainly find them being used for passenger purposes, yes. And
I did see a few questions about us having this obviously on the Hattstrecker Rhine-Ruhr route. Are there plans that we could port that onto other routes in the future?
Yes, absolutely. We want to, this is a really nice and versatile loco, and we want to look at what we can do with other routes. Just slow down. So the challenge is going to be checking out, checking the memory usage and so forth on the various routes. So there's already an issue that everyone's aware of on Munich, and this would be a perfect loco to run on Munich. But we don't want to make that problem worse. So at some point, I'd love to get that. Obviously, you can run it in Scenario Designer, which we'll be doing tonight. I'll be running this on Munich via Scenario Designer tonight, but it's not going to be there on service mode. Right, 500 hertz just came up. Let's bring it to a stop. doors open. So yes, it would be good to get it onto other locos. There are no plans at this point to do that, I hasten to add. But I will say that the upcoming Hamburg-Lübeck route, the team have added 2 services for the BR101, because it doesn't actually run there currently. It used to run there, but we have kind of introduced it onto the Hamburg-Lübeck route in 2 of its numbered services. Or I think it only actually had 2 services in the day, so they've been added into the timetable as a layer.
Nice. And I did a little bit of research beforehand because, again, if we can maybe go to the outer cam for a second, Matt. I was a little bit because it's. I was quite intrigued by the shape of this particular loco, and it's got kind of the curved front, but it's quite a sharp curve as well. And apparently that was because the desire to stay kind of aerodynamic, but also cost effective at the same time, trying to make it as you say, like the air being able to travel over the top of it, but also not coning it so much that it ended up being really difficult to build and really kind of cost ineffective. So that's and apparently also they didn't curve it anymore as well, because they wanted to be able, the locos to be able to be as close as possible when they were in the station as well.
Yes. I'm not sure why the 1000 Hertz didn't come up. I know the 1000 Hertz works. I was testing it on a different thing earlier today, so I know it works. So it is. I'm going to find out whether that's actually a PZB magnet issue on the route. Actually, we're in 500 Hertz, so we should limit ourselves to 20. So I've dropped the AFB down to 20, bring it back up to the 50 kilonewtons. From the outside, looks very much like a 146.2. Hold them up next to each other, and actually you'll see they're quite different. The shape on the Trax locos versus the BR101 is very different. Specifically, you'll notice this is one curve going down, whereas the 146 actually is a curve and then it sort of straightens out a little bit. So there's a bend about in the middle somewhere. Hold the side profile up and you'll see there's quite a difference. The window profile actually is quite different as well. But yes, it does immediately look like they're similar, but they're actually very different. Right, we're out of all sorts of monitoring and things, so we can get back up. LZB doesn't show up on the HUD until LZB is activated. Now, I've turned LZB on, which is why the B light is present on the desk here. But until we actually go into LZB section, then you won't see anything on the HUD. And what happens is it just adds it to this bit on the left. The next thing we're going to do, and that's specifically why I'm going to do it, is when we go over to, I'm going to do it on Munich, and when it activates LZB, you'll see that bit of the HUD switch on. Cooper Gaming, there was a pricing issue. It should be corrected now, I think, is JD?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, if you go back onto Steam now, it should show the correct price. If you have purchased it at that initial price, then please request a refund and then get it again for the cheaper price, because there is a 10% launch discount on Steam as well at the moment, which isn't what we tend to do with Loco, so it is quite a good deal actually at the moment on Steam. Hanny's asked for the horn sound. I think it's probably about time. And I'm gutted because I'm not going to be able to hear it, but Matt, I trust that you'll be able to do a great job of
I am blowing the horn senseless at the moment. It's
with requests for wipers as well.
For what, sorry?
For wipers as well.
Wipers as well. Crikey, they want everything tonight.
I know.
That's the emergency valve down there. I'm going to work out where all the controls are at some point. The wheel slipping, I don't know the answer to that, Triple J. I mentioned earlier on, I'm going to mention that to Mike, who worked on the loco, and find out if that's correct or if that's something that needs further work on it. And what I found is, from my own knowledge of generally speaking, it's around, you want to be around the 50 kilonewton mark when you're accelerating, and at 50 kilonewtons you don't have a problem. But almost anything above 50 kilonewtons, you do start to have a problem. So I don't know why that is. Why am I staying at notch 6? Because the 50, I'm sticking at 50 kilonewtons. And as I said, I already know that if I go much above it, you do start getting the problem with the wheel slip. So, or the behaviour of the wheel slip. I don't know if it's a problem. 5.1 now to Essen, which is our next mid-journey stop.
Got asked about emergency stopping. How do we get out of emergency stop situations? So I guess probably 159 kilometres an hour is probably not the ideal time to simulate an emergency stop. But
I'll just
maybe
let Sifa trip. I'll just let Sifa trip, and we'll come to a screeching halt in a minute. Actually, Sifa I can demonstrate a couple of different ways, because Sifa recovers automatically if you acknowledge it. So when it goes off, there we go. So the alarm goes off. Sifa starts whining, and then Sifa's Bremsung comes on. Train is now braking, but as soon as I press Q, you'll see the brake pressure is immediately coming back up on the brake pipe, and the brake cylinder is now releasing. So all I need to do is release the throttle and reapply it, and the train will start. Once the brakes are fully released, then it'll be back in shape to go again. You'll see we start accelerating. There you go. We're starting to accelerate again now.
Nice.
So that's a CIFA, which is not quite the same thing. So a PZB fail, for example, will bring you to a stop. So if we get a PZB come up, I'll try and let that one run through, so that it brings us to a stop. But one theory, once you've stopped, you acknowledge the PZB, reset it, and then you carry on again, as far as I'm aware.
Nice one. And top speed, Matt?
200 kilometres. Well, the operational speed on this route, we're 200 kilometres an hour. Yeah, it's 200 kilometres an hour.
That's handy, having it up there.
Most locos do.
I mean, again, if you've watched the 4-Up challenge, you'll notice that I've pretty much just firmly looked straight forward and don't look around too much during the cabin, which is obviously great. And I went through a few tunnels without actually having the internal lights on, so I am working on that.
What does the train say to you? That was CIFA emergency brake, I think. CIFA Swamsor, or however it's pronounced, is effectively CIFA emergency brake or something along those lines. You done bad, basically. So 1000 hertz came up this time, so I don't know why it didn't on the last one. Will the 101 ever get time told? So using the will you ever, Yoshi asking a question, will you ever, it's very difficult to answer that question because ever is quite a long time. Is there an aspiration to do that? I'd love to do that. Am I going to be making a promise that it will happen? No. It's possibly something the Preserve crew can do. Like, Adam has been revamping the rapid transit timetable. It may be something, and again, I am not making promises here, it may be something that can be wrapped into some of the stuff going on there when the timetable is reviewed, work out how we can layer in some 101s. I mean, the good thing is 101s are relatively straight forward to add to a timetable because they don't do tons of different things. Right, 500 hertz has come in. Let's just roll up to our stopping point.
Bjorn Groni says emergency brake is Schnellbremser.
Schnellbremser, is it? Oh, okay.
And Zwangbremsung means forced stop, Toby says
stop,
as well.
There you go.
Sorry for my pronunciation, again, to any Germans who are watching.
They know to come here for the best German pronunciations from everyone. There's no LCB on HRR because its maximum speed is only 160 km/h anyway.
A couple of requests to unlock the windows.
Can you unlock the windows? I was just looking earlier on and I couldn't see how to unlock the windows. There's a CIFA button over there. The bar lets you open them. Does it? Not for me, it doesn't.
Apparently there's a handle. So we've got a handle, we've got a bar.
Take the
handle
lever
onto
below
the
window to unlock. Oh, here we go. Window unlock.
Oh, there we go.
And then we can. Oh, that's neat.
Oh, that's fancy.
That's neat. Oh, look, 101 coming the other way. Look. It's like we were destined to meet.
Star-crossed lovers.
Doors are closed. The brakes. Set the AFB back down to 20 kilometers an hour and apply 50 kilometers.
Joe Stanger's asked, who wants Matt to say Schließvorgang eingeleitet? I mean, I can try.
It depends how close is that to something insulting and terrible
I was going to say. I feel
like slight mispronunciation can be the worst thing in the world. I'm
going to check and Google translate what Schleiss, whatever it was.
I've not really spent much time in the 101, if I'm honest. Only me. I started looking at it yesterday. Reality PZB troubles. Good. Set the speed limit to 100 km/h. Next stop is Bochum. Why the LCD display doesn't work on LCD routes like the ICU display did? It does, Enrico. I'm going to run an LCD route next to show you.
So when I chucked Schleißvorgang, I'm not going to say the second one, into Google Translate, it came up as grinding process started, but I'm reliably informed from the chat that it means the windows are closing. Oh, doors closing. Doors are closing.
Speed limit's gone down. Up to 130. Should we get some passing shots?
Let's do it. Let's get some Captain Cam out. Oh, that's some more paper there. That is a good shot. Does the DVBR 101 have a sandwich formation scenario designer?
I don't think I've seen one, no. I'm not sure why that is.
And Cole Cohen says, it's like having a Ferrari for the bakery down the street.
Well, you can get to the bakery in style then.
Yeah. AC's asked, how do you get into FreeCam PS4? I don't know.
You can't unless you go into either classic controls, in which case you can pop up the menu to select your controls, your camera, sorry, or plug in a keyboard and press enter.
There we go. Matt has all the consoles, so...
This is the one I use on my PC, this is the one I use on the dev kit, and this is the one I use on the Series X, and this is the one I use on the PS4, so yeah.
Do you label them, Matt?
No, they're all different colours fortunately, so I can just about manage to keep up with it. The ACS64 Unruly Phantom is based on the Euro Sprinters, the ES64, so it's closer to something like a BR182 or a BR189 or a BR145, I think is an ES, because the CS in ACS means City Sprinter. It's part of Siemens' Sprinter series, but they all have some similar designs going on. So yes, it doesn't surprise me. It sounds a bit like that. Why is it possible to override German brakes? Only on a CIFA, and that's standard. All German trains should be able to override CIFA. Game down is too loud. Let me turn that back. Shot window. Right. Give that little braking assistance down to that 140. I didn't see that until too late.
How long is this route, Matt, by the way?
This route isn't tremendously long. It's, I can't remember the length of it now. It's 40, 45 kilometres, 50 kilometres maybe. I don't know exactly. But you run it at fairly high speed pretty much throughout.
Yeah.
So it's you've also got the benefit of the fact you've got the predominantly the S-Bahn line down here, and you've got the freight high speed line up here. So it's got a couple of variations of journey as well.
And Cole says the length is the reason for my Ferrari comment.
No, I got it, Cole. I got it totally. But they don't run them on Kolnacken anymore, and and Munich Augsburg has got problems with the memory, so we don't want to make that worse at the moment. So this was the next best route. 46 kilometres. There you go. Thank you, Jack.
And apparently, some drivers' nickname is the vacuum cleaner.
Possibly the sound,
I assume because of the noise.
They used to run a Kolnacken, yeah, they don't these days, Derek. I want to get it on more routes, and we're certainly going to be looking to put it onto as many routes as we can coming up as we do more German routes, because it's great fun loco to drive.
Well, and by the looks of things, it's the community, the people watching tonight, seem to really like it as well. So we just got a passing there. And everyone seems to like it as well. So it feels like it's a bit of a, I'm not going to say a no-brainer, because that implies that it's going to be something that we do very, very quickly. But it's something that I think is definitely in our minds.
Yeah. That signal back there was one we already know doesn't give 1,000 hertz. It's on, because the signal link is on a junction, and actually a 1,000 hertz magnet has managed to connect itself to the wrong thing. It is on the signalling team's list to have a look at that one. There you go. There's 1,000 hertz. It's not a layer. The 112 is just subbing in. Totally forgot that was even installed on here. You switch it to a shipping build and some things stay. Right, rolling into Bochum.
Dark Railways asked, are there new services for the route then with this loco? I believe we touched on this at the start.
Yeah, there's 30 new services specifically for the Intercity. Because it doesn't do anything that's already been covered by other trains, so it has to have its own layer with its own services. And we always try and add new services where we can, because it's more interesting.
I did see Fog on the Rhine, which was a particular favourite of mine in terms of the was it? I can't remember whether I saw it as a scenario or whether it was a anything else. But I saw Fog on the Rhine and it made me laugh.
do like these coaches. I'm glad we've got these in now.
Yeah, they look great, don't they?
Well, they're not red, you know. Just they're different. They're the Intercity style red stripe.
A little bit of contrast. I had a quick question for you, Matt. It's not really related to the 101, but obviously the billboards, adverts in game. How do we decide what we're going to put on them? Because obviously they're quite generic at the moment. Do we just go for things that we assume would be on the billboards, or do we have a specific? Not billboards, like the advertising hoardings. Yeah.
These things like this one. Yeah, so the art team they see what's there on the real route, and they come up with their own fictional sort of, we want a car insurance, we want a holiday destination one, and it's that kind of thing. So then they can't be the real thing because they would need licensing, and licensing an advert is actually really hard because everyone looks at you going, why? But it gives the team actually quite a nice creative outlet to come up with some really fun stuff for the adverts. I know Derek particularly enjoyed doing the ones on the Bakerloo line. Right, okay, so let's go to the main menu. Black 5 tease board. There was more of the team being a little bit self-deprecating by having a board saying sounds like a Black 5, because Black 5 it's basically like a pop group, but everyone used to say in the early days of railworks and so forth, hang on, this train sounds like a Black 5. Right, okay, so let's go for München Augsburg, so we can do some LZB greatness. We'll do not Synovus mode. We'll do our own. I'm just going to do like a quick drivey type, simple one. Hist add. Now I'm going to start at Munich 15 and go to Augsburg. We'll do a stop at Pasing, and we'll do the 101. We'll do it with the 11 cars. Should we do it with the 11 cars? Let's do it with the 11 cars.
Yeah. People are asking to play Hamburg Lübeck. That's for another day.
That's not today, folks. I should have uninstalled it, but I totally forgot. I remembered to switch it to a production build and forgot that would still include things it shouldn't. I don't think I've leaked Hamburg Lübeck. I think you already knew about it, though, to be fair.
Well, I hope you would at this point.
And if you didn't, that's probably less my problem.
I mean, we were on the stream together, Matt, weren't we, when we announced it? So.
Well, exactly. If there's anybody else, by the way, I saw a couple of people saying, here we go, Joshua's just asked it, how did the laptop survive actually it was a coffee tsunami last night. I'm delighted to say my laptop is fine. I'm using it to talk to you. So, and it has performed brilliantly today at work. So,
you notice, Matt, I've got something here that has a lid. So I'm going to put that lid very firmly on.
Yeah, let's not do that. Oh dear. Right, let's get before we do anything else, get CFA, PZB and LZB turned on. Set the lights to the correct ones on the whites on the front. Let's get the reverser in and set to forwards. So we've activated the cab. Check the brakes are applied, and then we can unlock the doors. Let's get AFB turned on and set that to 40 kilometers an hour so that it is good for departure. Let's make sure train line is on and train lights are on. Everything else looks good. Brakes, they'd be handy. Let's have some brakes. Got brakes control. Excellent. Good. Train's set up and ready to go.
I'm enjoying reading the chat at the moment, to be honest with you.
Are they all having a go at my coffee?
A little bit. Liquids and electricity are not good. JD is that Nebworth flask.
My coffee never worth my mug.
A splash screen while you're loading the route.
Splash screen, nice. Someone said yesterday,
like
which as a developer I particularly enjoyed, was Matt's installed Java on his laptop, which I thought was just absolutely brilliant.
Very good.
Right, okay, so as we depart, obviously there's no LZB yet, that activates a bit further on down the line. Let's get our 50 kilonewtons and power applying. That's it. There's the brake to come off on the coaches, we can get moving. We're good up to 40 kilometres an hour. No, there'll be no traffic on this type of thing, Prithvraj, because I haven't programmed any. But what I wanted to do is just showcase LZB operating in operation, and also just to demonstrate to people, hey, put it on other routes. The fact that it's not in service mode doesn't mean you can't use it on other routes. You have a question about LZB and PZB and BR101, Jacob? Fire away.
That's what we're here to do.
The ICE has LZB already on the HUD. Oh, I see what you mean. No, in this instance, it turns it on once it turns it on. I quite like that personally because it's good. Otherwise, it's just clutter. It's not of any benefit to you whatsoever until it's time for LZB to activate.
Ferramero asks, is the 101 usable on all German routes? Sorry, I came in late. Well, first of all, Ferramero, try and be on time next time. But no, thanks for tuning in. It's in service route. It's only on Hauptstrecke Rheinbrook at the moment, service mode even. But as you can see, we're doing a scenario at the moment on Augsburg, Munich.
Yep. European train spotting. Why the PZB and LZB lights light up? They're not light up for you. What platform you're in European train spotting? Is it PlayStation by any chance? Just become aware of this because I mean I've been testing it on Xbox and on my Series X. I've been testing it on the PC. The team have obviously been testing it, and it does appear to be PS4 that's having an issue with the lights not showing up. So the team are going to look into what weirdness, because we particularly the console builds all come from the same place. So it's odd that the console was behaving differently. PS4 was behaving differently. So we are looking into that.
Yeah, we'll take that away with us today because it looks like there's a few people that have mentioned that. So we got in the chat.
But you can, if you click Iron Display over here, the PZB over here works, even on the PS4. So if you click on you've got the power bit outputs here. If you click on this button here, then all this PZB out here, which is the sort of the more modern style PZB with the digital speedo, that stuff does work. See, until it actually comes out, you can do it that way.
Cool. Jakob came back with this question, by the way. He said, how the isolation of PZB is implemented in the game engine when LZB is active?
So when LZB switches on, PZB effectively switches off. Now in reality, what it does, I think, it doesn't strictly switch off. It kind of keeps an eye on what's going on. So that it was explained to me. From your general perspective, it just looks like it's been switched off. But there's more detail to it that I would get lost if I tried to explain, related to what situation it was in and what situation it is when it comes out in certain circumstances or something like that. So, but for all intents and purposes, PZB is switched off while you're on LZB.
Nice.
Suppressed,
Mr. Silverwolf.
there you go. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Silverwolf86 asks, when's the rush hour update coming? Well, it's coming at 3 p.m. on May the 4th, which I believe is a Tuesday, where we will be giving you a lot more information. So stay tuned for that in your diaries. I believe it's also Roadmap Day as well. So we will be using that to inform the next roadmap as well, I believe. And Chris W, carrying on with the coffee theme, all the jokes about coffee, you're making a mockery out of it.
No, that was overdone last night. That one. Come on, be original, folks. Want lots of original coffee puns.
Java one's probably my favourite so far.
I'd love that one.
And Pando Fred asks, what is the rush hour update? Well, I recommend, if you haven't already, check out the website, which has all of the information that we've given so far about rush hour. And we also did a live stream a couple of weeks ago, myself and Matt, where we talked about all of the new stuff that is coming to Train Sim World 2. If you just search on our YouTube channel for Train Sim World 2 New Journeys, you should be able to find it. And then that's got all of the information about all the things that we're going to be releasing over the coming weeks, months, and I'm not going to say years, weeks and months.
There you go, Jacob. That sort of more closely summarises what I remember someone explaining. So, in reality, PCB continues to run in the background while any brake demands from PCB are suppressed, which then means that when you come out of PCB, it's in the correct mode that it would have been had you been running in PCB all along. And any restrictions are immediately come into enforce as well, as far as I'm aware. You know, there are some tricky situations you can get into on the exit to PZB if you haven't been paying attention to what's been going up leading up to your exit as well. Basically, pay attention. This is a problem for me.
Is this Liam asks, is this an espresso run to Augsburg? I like that one. Endor says we're still missing the latest updates for Rosa and Southeast on Xbox, it seems. Interesting.
What's that, sorry?
That's the patch that went out yesterday after the delay that we had on Tuesday. Enter, if you're still having problems...
okay, we've had a PZB fail, which was entirely intentional.
Yes. Sorry, shall I carry on with that? Sorry,
no, you carry on.
If you're still having problems, can you let us know? Can you put a little thread up on the forums, please, and tag me into it on DTGJD? I'd just like to get a little bit more information, because I know we had a couple of problems with the patch going out on Tuesday. Just want to make sure that everything is as it should be, because I haven't seen that yet from any Xbox users. So just make sure that you've got the latest build uploaded. I'm sure you have, but just double check and let me know on the forums, and we'll pick that up tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I didn't acknowledge there was a 60 reduction warning that I didn't acknowledge back there, which was, I remembered it was there just as soon as the alarm went on. I'm like, I know exactly what I've done. Right, to fix it, end. PZB is now back in a happy place. Reset the throttle back to 0. Waiting for the brake pipe to recharge at the moment, which is the yellow one here. Brakes are tied to the brake pipe. If the brake pipe is not high enough, it won't let the throttle. So you can see the red lines just disappeared because the throttle is now, the brake is now high enough. And then as soon as I apply power, it will release the brakes, and we can apply our 50 kilonewtons. And as soon as the brakes release on the rest of the train, which will take a minute because the coaches have got to release. Brake cylinders down to 0.3, 0.2. Come on, you can do it.
Sorry, I'm just trying to follow up with the patch bits and pieces, so I will just be a little bit quiet for the next couple of minutes. But I'll let you narrate.
There we go. Brakes are released. We're now moving. So an emergency application takes a little bit longer than a normal brake application for everything to recharge and let the brakes come off again. But if you just apply some power and leave it there, it will go. You just have to wait. Right, we're also on restricted, we're on monitoring, so I need to be down at 40 kilometers an hour and not standing up. Please sit down. Oh, shut up, Seafa's bremsing. What's in? Right, that's because I stood up. If you let go of the pedal, it gets all excitable. But Seafa, as I said, you don't have to stop for a Seafa brake. That was a good demo of the e-brake, was it? There you go. See, I promise, and I like to deliver on those promises. Matt demo things going wrong is normally something you can rely on.
Wrong, but it gives an example to showcase some different things that you might experience when you're driving this yourself.
Exactly.
Sorry guys, I think I'm back now. I have let the team know that the patch on Xbox looks like it might be not quite covering, by the looks of things, Arosa and Southeastern. So I will double check that tomorrow morning when everybody's back in the office. Virtual office. None of us are working in the office at the moment.
Right, let's come to a stop here. Why are only 3 platforms available at Munich? That's just how it was set up in the original Munich-Augsburg release, I think. They're individual paths, so you set up multiple paths to it. There just hasn't been paths created from all of the platforms, I think. It does feel like this has a lot of trouble gaining proper traction. How do you mean, Senashnor? Did the coffee incident cause a latte problems? Nice. That's a different use of it. I like that.
Yeah, I got off the train late and the cafe was closed. I had cafe tears.
Snore. So, as I understand it, when accelerating in a German train, you should be sticking to around a 50 kilonewton. Now, at 50 kilonewton, you don't have a problem. So as you see, if I wind the throttle up here to the 50, sort of around the 50 kilonewton mark, you won't get acceleration. You won't get any wheel slip. But much above 50, you do. So I am going to have a conversation with the team and find out is that right, or is that something that needs looking at. I noticed that myself earlier on.
Yeah, I think we've addressed this a few times, but this 101 would work nicely on other routes. We're aware of that, and we would love to in the future do something with those other routes with this loco as well. But it's not something we have immediate plans to do. There's a few things we need to sort on those lines first of all before we can think about adding the loco to it.
Is it possible to connect wagons to another class? So you can't mix and match, and you can't make your own formations, Darko Railway. It's something we want to do at some point, but you can't at the moment. And at the moment, due to other limitations, we can't give you formations which mix across different packs, because the game doesn't detect whether or not you have the packs, offers you things that you possibly can't use, and then crashes. So that needs to be properly implemented, and then we'd at least be able to offer some formations that blend across different packs and give you freight 101s and all sorts of different options.
Senor Snore says, I find it slightly worrying you're given access to open the doors from 25 kilometres an hour and under. See a lot of trust.
Well, I think there's one of the things in this train, this comes up every now and again, is which trains have the door interlocks that stop the train moving, and which trains don't. Like the TGV doesn't. There's pictures of the train. I've seen videos of the TGV driving with the doors open, and as I understand it, this is the same. This one, you can open the doors when it's moving, at least moving slowly.
There's a couple of questions about cab car. Now we knew we might get a couple of questions about the cab car, and we probably should chat about it during this part because we've got 47 kilometres to Augsburg. In terms of the cab car, there's something that I know that we've chatted about quite a lot over the course of different live streams and whatever. But I suppose, Matt, what's the reasoning behind having kind of not having the cab car with this particular release?
But in the slot that the release had time wise, it just wasn't possible to fit the cab car in. There was also a lack of reference for the cab car that we had access to. There was like a number of things just made it really difficult to get a cab car in. It's like there's no bistro car in the park. There's actually, I think, 4 or 5 different coaches in the full consist of the train in reality, and there's only 2 in here. We've got the A and the B. And again, it's just down to these coaches. Actually, TSW coaches take a lot more to make than perhaps coaches from TS1, for example, because all the interior detail and so forth actually makes them, almost verging on the cost of a loco, except for the lack of the interactives. And a cab car is basically another loco. It's quite a considerable job. So something we want to do at some point. And the team are going to go out and try and get reference for the cab car, so we've got it ready to make it. Desperately want to make one, but we weren't able to get it into this pack, unfortunately.
Absolutely fine.
What functionality would you like to see in the coach series, Chief Lobshire?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, good question.
You can open the doors and you can say, don't say toilets. Don't say toilets. When will I be able to take a seat at a station? See, that comes up a lot from as many people saying, why the heck would I want to do that? As people saying, oh, I can't believe I can't do that. And I'm with the latter group. I think that'd be awesome. So
just sit and watch the world go by.
Exactly. Right, LZB just flied into life. You can see the extra bit just appeared on the HUD, and the centre panel just lit up. And now that LZB has arrived, I'm going to put the AFB full forward to 200, which means we're now accelerating to 200 kilometres an hour. And all I've got to do is try not to mess up SIFA. Is a coffee machine at the buffet car already integrated?
I was going to make a joke when you talked about the bistro cab, or the bistro car even, but I refrained.
Open windows, tray tables, armrests. Would like to. They all make the coaches a lot more expensive on frame rate and so forth for minimal value. Just one of the reasons it's not been looked at. The skeletal, the animations and the skeletal meshes and so forth get massively more complicated to support that. But it's something to look at and see whether we can find an efficient way of doing it.
Ticket collectors have been suggested as well. I think maybe we'll get the tray tables first, and then we'll look at ticket collectors.
Sure. Yes, we're aware that we've become aware today that users on PlayStation have been finding that the lights aren't showing up on the dash of the loco on PlayStation. Don't know where that is. So we'll look into it. And this left screen generally just doesn't seem to be behaving 100% the way I'd like it to. There's no LZB, as someone said, and the speedometer only goes up to 160. So again, I have a number of questions to ask the team tonight. Or tomorrow. They probably won't want to listen to me tonight, to be fair.
No. I'm definitely going pretty much straight to bed after this one.
It's a lovely train though. I really enjoy driving it. It's got some lovely sounds. It's a loco that goes fast and hauls passenger trains,
It's great. I've enjoyed sort of living vicariously through you, Matt, during this.
Does that mean I can blame you for the emergency stop? Excellent.
Why not? Let's do it. I mean, I can be the punching bag, it's fine. Railway Database asked about the update yesterday for Xbox. It's something we've just become aware of tonight, actually, so I'm going to follow that up tomorrow. Well, I've already asked in our Teams chat already, but I've made the team aware, and we'll have to see what the next steps are with that. I'm not quite sure what we will be able to do in the short term, but we'll see what we can do to identify what the problem is, so A, it doesn't happen again, and B, that we can get it to Xbox users as soon as we can.
Yeah. Luca James, when your brake is on release, the emergency brake comes on, and I would say probably not, Luca James. When are you seeing that happen? I mean, it's not happening for me at the moment.
We've got a couple of Hamburg Lübeck questions. We'll save them for the Hamburg Lübeck stream.
Save your Hamburg questions till the Hamburg stream, folks.
We will do a preview of the route as well. I can't give you an exact date of when that's going to be yet. We'll be doing a preview stream for Hamburg Lübeck, so you can ask all those questions during that live stream.
Where is the switch for the windshield wipers? This is a good question. There it is there, look. It's not so much about limiting use on different routes. It's not an exercise to limit, Philip. There's quite a lot of work to add a new train to a service mode, and retesting, and the impact on the existing service mode, and potential impacts on memory usage and so forth. So there's a lot to consider. It's not an act of limiting. That has to be done to add it to each of those different routes, and that's quite time consuming. It's definitely something I'd like to do. But I can't make promises that it will happen or ever happen. We are going to factor it in now for future service modes, of course, and it does feature at least minimally on Hamburg Lübeck.
MLP Derek asked if I've been enjoying my time at Dovetail Games so far. Well, that's a lovely question. First of all, yeah, I've done. It's been definitely a different experience for me coming into this. Very green, very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but I'm learning things. I'm really enjoying the experience of kind of learning more about this world, and particularly with the help of the community as well. Yeah, I'm getting excited for all of this stuff that we've got planned, and yeah, we've got some interesting things coming up that obviously I can't tell you about now, but we should hopefully be able to tell you about in the coming weeks and months, which. Yeah, I'm really excited by it. So, yeah, really enjoyed it, and thank you everybody who's been really welcoming so far. It's been great.
It's really cool.
Somebody's also had the issue with the bell on the Peninsula Corridor route that I had during the 4-Up challenge, which caused much hilarity on the stream. I'm glad that we are kindred spirits, Liam, and thank you for making me feel less bad about myself that I subjected everybody to that during the live stream a couple of weeks ago.
Why does RZB show 160 as a target speed? So as I understand it, it's a technical limitation at the moment with the way that it looks forward. The RZB subsystem looks forward, in that essentially the next change is beyond the edge of the loaded tile space. So for some reason that means it's still defaulting into 160. As you get within space, it'll snap to the right one. So I noticed that earlier on as well, and the ICE does that. That's not new to this, but it's something along those lines. Essentially, it can't see far enough ahead. The route isn't loaded that far ahead.
LaserJet, the station stopping has barely improved. But I'm trying. We do a thing called Creative Project Mornings every other Wednesday, where we get a chance to kind of take a look at things that we want to either improve on, or we want to learn a little bit more about, which is really cool. Sometimes I get the chance to, sometimes I don't. But I did try and learn a little bit about German signalling and German safety systems using Matt's very handy guide, YouTube guide. So I managed to get about halfway through in the time that I had, but I'm going to try and watch part 2 at some point soon, and then learn how to do some of these routes myself. That is not a promise that I'm going to do a 4-Up challenge on a German route anytime soon, but I will try my best to at least get through without getting stopped or spadding. So
I said, why don't you make it the 101 route substitute for freight? That's not a bad shout. I'll go and talk to the team about that actually, because that would be a simple change made to the loco rather than requiring a change to all of the routes. So that's interesting.
Matthew McQuillan asked, when is this out? PS4 it should already be out, Matthew. Yeah, I think it was released this this morning, so whenever it hit 12 o'clock.
Yeah, midnight your time. The midnight in the morning of the launch day in your local area is when all the console builds release.
Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere that's 21 hours ahead of GMT, so I would assume that every geography has it at this point. So if you haven't got it in your library or you haven't got it on your store page, then there's probably somewhere. And again, a good note as well, if you are interested in the 101 and you like what you see, you like what you hear, you like what you're feeling with this stream, you are able to see there's a 10% discount as well on Steam. So if you want to grab it there, you're more than welcome to.
Whoops. Too busy time having fun with the camera, and I got seafood. But good job, you don't have to stop. All good.
Just a quick note on sales as well. We have a lot more ability to create our own sales on Steam rather than with Microsoft and with Sony on the PlayStation and the Xbox stores. They tend to do more kind of general sales where lots of developers at one time jump in and they put their stuff on sale. So for instance for Game Pass or for anything else. So we have a bit more flexibility with Steam to do kind of our own stuff a little bit more often. So that's why you probably see a little bit more on the Steam side than you would on Sony or on PlayStation or Xbox. But we do our best to try and make sure that we cover all bases and give everybody a slice of the pie at different points of the year. But we have a little bit less flexibility with PlayStation and Xbox.
Top down your phone. I'm using a custom scenario in Scenario Planner. You can't use the BR101 on anything other than Helps Check and Right or in service mode. How do you lock the free camera to a train? Press 3. And it'll just follow the train. 3 is the follow camera, 8 is the free camera, 2 is then the boom camera that spins around like that. .8 kilometres to a drop to 150 kilometres an hour. So if you look, LZB is now, you heard the beep a minute ago, that's telling us 6,400 metres until the change, and then down here it tells us what the upcoming change is. What will actually happen is that this blue dot will actually start dropping at some point down, and it'll guide us down to that point. Either because we're under AFB, it'll just happen automatically.
I like how the numbers on the dial are increasingly smaller in size. I think that's a good touch. It means that obviously the if it goes below 1, you're probably in trouble on the big one. So I like that. It's a good little aid for drivers, particularly if you're like me and your eyesight is not the best.
That's it, we've dropped down under 4 kilometres, which now means the bar takes over. And now the bar counts us down to 0. G-lights come on, which tells us the braking curve will be kicking in shortly, I think.
I don't really know much about Augsburg. Apart from they've got a football team that's goes between the Bundesliga and the Segunda. No, that's not even what the second league is in Germany in football. That's about all I know about Augsburg.
Yeah, LZB is doing the slowing down now, Lee, and this is all automatic. I'm not doing it. Because AFB is turned on, LZB is now dropping the speed down automatically to get to the 150 in time for the round the corner here. I call it cheat mode.
What if you could do the Konami code on the loco? It just activates cheat mode.
I was going to make it do something like we originally joked about the Konami code being how you did it, how you answer PCB acknowledge.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
We thought that would be utterly brutal, but then we realised everyone would probably hate us with a passion.
Can we do that for an April Fool's one year?
Yeah. Three kilometres to the 90. I'm actually going to cut the power at this point because the 90 is around about the exit point of LZB as well. So at some point we'll be getting a PCB end come up. I'm going to apply a little braking and just start the deceleration process now. There you go, PCB end. Press the end button. Let's get down. So Neil's not trying to ignore any particular comments. By all means, fire them again. I thought I'd been answering all the various comments that people have been making.
Yeah, I think we've done a pretty decent job of trying to cover as much ground as we have done. So please keep chucking them in there. We'll answer as many as we can.
Right, that's it. We're under the 85 now. We've got the PCB end. And at some point, just shortly up here, the actual end of PCB will occur.
So the digital speedo is incorrect. That's what
it
Neil's.
Is. Yes, as in, you mean the limit of it? Yes, that was raised earlier on, and I did respond to that.
Yeah, I think we could take that away after the stream.
I've seen a number of issues on the screens on the left-hand side, so I'm going to go and find out about that. The T light, doesn't seem to be doing anything either.
When can we expect Hamburg Lübeck? Well, I'm going to tell you tonight. There will be preview streams for Hamburg Lübeck. A preview stream for Hamburg Lübeck in the future, and we'll go into a little bit more detail during that, I would imagine.
So we came out of PZB, and we're now out of LZB. It reverted back to PZB. You can see the 85 lights come back on again. We've got a 60 coming up. We'll get a warning. In fact, there's the double yellow, which is the warning for it. So I'll need to acknowledge that. There's 1000 hertz has come up on that. Let's just get slowed down for the 60.
I think Niels has asked about the bringing this train to other timetables as well. I think we've discussed this a couple of times over the course of the stream.
Would love to, not on the plan at the moment. But we are going to use it in timetables going forward, and it has been included in Hamburg Lübeck. Only in 2 services, but there are a couple of BR101 services on there.
Monda's asked if I got to Sam's school of disclosing new information. I mean, I'm going to say that me and Sam have had quite a few conversations about this kind of thing. So I will be as transparently opaque as I possibly can be.
I love that phrase, transparently opaque. 500 hertz kicked in because of the red light at the end of the platform. Freigaben as we come down below 30 kilometers an hour. Roll up to the end. What we'll do is I'll give you another tour of the passenger cars before we finish.
Yeah, that sounds like a good way to finish.
Okay, Joe, I haven't spoken to Mike at all about anything that I've observed. So the stuff that we've been talking about here may be completely correct. So I need to talk to Mike and the rest of the team to understand what needs looking at. But all I'm saying is I'm acknowledging what you're saying. Totally, I see it too. We will get answers.
And Mike was asked if Sarton is now retired. He is not now retired. You saw him on the roadmap stream on Tuesday.
Sam now retired. He wishes.
I was going to say, you might have a few words to say about that as well. Michael, I'll pass that on to Sam and I'll let him respond to you at some point.
Why does it say that when you go below 30 kilometers, Overgaben, or something along those lines? That's possibly better pronounced in German. It's if you look at PCB diagrams, you'll notice there is a bar at 30 kilometers an hour, and it's because once you go down below that speed, there's some different rules applied. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's warning you that you've gone below that speed. Oh, it's warning the driver to remember that open the doors when he stops. Oh, is that what it's saying? Okay, nothing to do with what I thought then. What does door release have to do with PCP? Nothing, does it?
No. I think Hanny as well has asked about the digital screen on the left-hand side. There are things that we know on this stream.
Let's consider that digital screen needing review, shall we?
Let's just put that in the box of things that we're going to take a look at after this. So anything that's on the left-hand side screen that doesn't look potentially as it should do, we will take a look after the stream. Well, not after the stream, because I think we're probably both going to have a cup of tea or something like that. But maybe tomorrow
nowhere near
morning.
my laptop, I'm not.
Well, that's very true, very true.
Right, let's go back to Helps Checker and get into a service so that we can have a look at the coaches one more time. BR101, put a bit of clouds on, put a bit of nice skies. Let's go for something in lunchtime, Duisburg. It's saying the doors can be opened there. Yeah, okay.
I did try and learn a bit of German at one point. I did try and do some Duolingo courses, but I learned how to say my duck is a vegetarian and not much else, to be honest.
I didn't really get on with Duolingo style when I did. My daughter loves it, so does my son, but I just didn't get on with their style. It just felt like I was taking the test before I'd learned anything.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm trying to get on here.
Yeah, I was going to say. And no, Matt, I don't have a duck. I wish I did have a duck, but no, I've got 2 cats. One of which is currently on my lap.
Sit down in the seat. Very nice. This is the first class cabins. We don't simulate masks, European train spotting. We're giving people a bit of a break from real life. This is meant to be fun.
Yeah. Don't worry, I will show the cat at the end of the stream as well, as much as she might not want to be on the stream.
Does the handbrake work? Yes, it does. It's got the PIS in here as well. No, the toilet doesn't work.
Again, another potential April Fool's we could bring in at some point. I'm making a list.
We did at one point discuss the idea of changing the model for a seat to be a toilet, so that all of the seats became toilets on a train, because everyone wants toilets. Well, here's all the toilets then. But these kinds of ideas are generally rejected fairly rapidly, so won't worry about it.
Oh, it's no fun.
That was the other night, indeed, yeah. What I particularly like is just the
yeah, I was going to say.
That's a tiny sign and so much text on it, and it's eminently readable.
That's great. Yeah, I hadn't noticed that first time round.
Right, we're in the second class compartment now. Let's let the AI driver take over, see if he can do any better. Oh, that's a good point, Ed. I haven't played with that yet. I will just show them, so I'll highlight them in a minute. But I wanted to actually take this opportunity to just have a listen as a ride, because someone commented they quite like the ride as a passenger.
Yeah, you got the standard rush hour vibe of, or lunchtime vibe of people just staring into space, not really communicating with each other on the train. That's what we love.
Yeah, the PIS should be dynamic on all trains going forwards, because the system, we don't actually tell the system. We used to tell the train everywhere, or tell the PIS everywhere the train was going. Now the PIS asks the train via the timetable, where are you going, which means it can be all done dynamically now. It is a much cleverer, much easier system. It means that now the gameplay authors don't actually have to author anything. It just happens, which is great. It sounds just like I remember. I went on one of these a long while ago, but it's...
Wish I could hear it. I'm just going to have to go in game and try myself.
Nick Steinsteigen is showing up on older systems, well, on older PIS implementations, which have they just use textures. So all you can do is show one of the textures, whereas now the more modern systems are implemented, it's literally just a character font system, so it can type it can display anything. Whereas the old one, like I said, it's just textures. So it's either one texture we know about, which is just going to be the routes it was on, or it says Nick Steinsteigen as a fallback. Yeah, it does sound pretty good, doesn't it? Let's go for a walk. Let's go back up to first class.
Yeah, let's chill with the first class folk.
It's nice and loud in here. Hello. Hello.
They don't seem too pleased to see you, Matt.
Nobody is when you walk into a compartment, because everyone was like, oh, this is all there is. I can deal with these people. Right, excellent. And then someone else walks in, you're like, and you are?
Oh, cat fans, you'll be very disappointed to hear that Phoebe has since now left my lap and has wandered off. So you might not get to see her this stream, but maybe in a later stream you will do.
Now, I think this is a Mullen-Rur potentially, which means we'll not be stopping in a minute. Why don't you get points for travelling as a passenger? Why do you think you should get points? It's a genuine question, because one of the things we wanted to do was add points, but we couldn't actually justify adding the points, because then, well, either you get so few that it doesn't matter, or you get enough that it devalues the whole point of driving the train. So it's difficult. It's difficult. Nope, we're not stopping it. Bye, everybody.
I also do enjoy how you had plenty of places to sit in this 6-person carriage and decided to sit next to somebody as well, just to be...
I'm that person.
You are that person.
You know, if I rock up to a car park that's empty with one car, parking next to that car.
I tried to think what you're like at urinals.
Rosaline has an achievement for travelling as a passenger. See, that's not a bad shout. I do quite like that. Rivet Games come up with something. One of the things I like about third parties getting involved is that one of the many things I like about it is that they come up with new ideas like that. So we need to make sure we learn from that sort of thing. Doesn't look like we're stopping here as well. This must be stopping at Essen. Well, you know what? Let's restart this so that I can just show you the outside of these coaches, and then we'll finish up.
Apparently Isle of Wight also does, which again is a rivet route.
Right, so let's go outside. So what this is kind of like something that we want to start doing going forwards, and because it's present on all wagons and everything else, and that's out here, the brake mode selector, which is here. So you've got the brake force selector, whether it's which mode the brakes are actually set up for, which does alter the physics as far as I'm aware. You've got the distributor release valve, and you've got the cutoff. No, that's about the extent of my knowledge, other than levers, buttons, yay. But apparently these all work correctly, and these are just brake timings and things like that. So we want to kind of try and start doing this on more. And again, I'm not promising that it'll happen on everything, but we'll get there. But this was an experiment to see how people got on with that, and how the team got on with implementing that stuff in the simulgraph. So it's good to see it. I think it's one of those things that, for example, it affects mostly on freight. So if on main Spessart, for example, all of the wagons are set up as mode G, which means 90 kilometres an hour. But if you know that your train is can run faster than that because of the weight of it and so forth, what you could do if this was done everywhere is reconfigure the train to run with faster brakes, so that you could then run the train at a higher speed, or perhaps even bump it up to PCB-M and go a bit faster than PCB-U. So there's some interesting options and decisions that can be made if that sort of stuff goes forward. So this is just have a play with it and see what you think, and ask questions, and we'll try and get you the answers in the forums. But yes, so yeah, just want to highlight that the team that's because I think it was the internal team that set up all the coaches, and and it was Mike, I think, that did a lot of the work on the loco. So it's a really, really great. The team have worked really, really hard on this, and they've enjoyed it as well. Gameplay team enjoyed setting it all up. So is the development time worth it to be? I think so, Red Leader, personally. Touches like that mean that you get more accurate way of setting the brakes up to be sort of more the way they would be prototypically. And I like more levers to play with, bluntly, even if it means I broke the train a lot more. So we'll just wait for this train to go, and then we'll go with it. So I hope that's answered everybody's questions. Okay, so if you're on PlayStation, we're aware that some of the LZB and PCB lights aren't working, but the functionality behaves correctly. We'll take that away. Similarly, some of the other issues that we found and you've let us know about, we're going to pass them on to the team and get them to have a look out those things. Some of them might be completely correct, some of them might not. So we'll get that feedback. But otherwise than that, Hauptstrecke Rheinrohr, 30 extra services running up and down the line, and then don't forget Scenario Planner for everywhere else.
Yep, and if you're a Steam user as well, you get 10% off the launch. I'm not sure what the window is, but you get 10% off for the time being. So if you're interested and you want to get it, then give it a go. Let us know what you think. And for those people who were on Xbox and perhaps didn't see the Southeastern or the Erosa patches, we're on that as well. We've just let the team know. So thanks very much for everyone for your questions. Thanks very much for all your comments. It's been a pleasure as always, Matt. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll be back next week. We'll be putting out the Railfan TV schedule hopefully next Monday, and we'll be back on Monday. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a lovely evening.
European Transport, next time you want to say, I've got one more question, just ask it, because now we're going to end the stream, unfortunately. Ping it on the forum, or ping me a DM, and we'll get an answer to your question. All right, folks, thank you very, very much for watching, and I think next stream is next week now, isn't it?
Next Monday.
Next Monday. There you go. All right, folks, thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next stream. Cheers, everyone. Oh, here he goes. Woohoo!
Bye-bye.